Crypto crackheads, cryptillions, ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin is breaking a lot of rules. It is being a bad boy or a bad girl or a bad crypto crackhead, whatever you want to call it. Bitcoin is charging up. It is getting ready to potentially do another first, which would be 7 green months in a row, which it'd have to close March green. But what I want to do in this video, particularly for new viewers, you might want to check this out. I want to show you the new things that Bitcoin has done. So it's never been done before. There are multiple of them. We'll go over what they are each and what that means. Is this going to be a triple top then slam back down? Is this going to be an early bull run in which there is no 2025 bull run, which would complete the 4-year cycles, 2017, 2021, 2025, so on and so forth? Are we going to do something completely new there as well? Early bull run, which has never happened before out of a 4-year cycle. What else is Bitcoin going to do that's new? But in order to do that, let's figure out what it has done that's new. So let's dive in and let's get ready to go get some Bitcoin. The first new thing that I want to show you is specifically using Tether Dominance, and one of my Discord team leaders, Benny Hanna, she is the one who made me aware of this. I guess it was 100% perfect correlation, and it broke for the first time. And it had multiple macro hit points. And new viewers, my charts are typically cleaner and nicer and easier to understand than most people, at least I have seen out there making price analysis videos on YouTube. Not shilling altcoins, rather, because they don't do price analysis, and if they do, they don't do it very well. But price analysis, folks, I'm going to keep these charts pretty clean, and I'm usually pretty good about that. And that will be one difference that you see on this channel. Tether Dominance. When this bottom line is hit, every single time was a macro top. And this dates back to 2018 when Tether was fairly new. I think Tether came out in 2017. So it established this line in November of 2018, a year after the 20K top in 2017. And these were macro pivots, all of them. So let's just go to the first one. November of 2021. Bitcoin in November of 2021 was at the 69K top right here. So that is 69K top, correlates going back to the Tether Dominance with this line right here, hitting that line. And then it bounced. One before there, somewhere around May, I would say, April, May, like this one. Let's just pick the middle one. It hit it 3 times in a row. Let's just pick the middle one, April. Actually, I think that is when the 64K top happened, before a huge downturn, right? So now going to my macro chart, April of 2021, it is right here. Boom, this is fresh. The orange lines are the halvenings and the previous halvenings. So here we go. It got the 64K top. And let's just do one more. June of 2019. Not all of them are the absolute tops. Just some of absolute tops are macro pivot points as well. So this one was the intermediate cycle where Bitcoin went from, this is inverse. So if this is high, Bitcoin's low. Bitcoin went from 3,200 around December of 2018 and January, February of 2019. And as this goes down, that means Bitcoin goes up. That went to 14K from 3,200. The big rally, it was about 350%. The current rally is about 280%. So our current rally, even though structurally that 14K rally from 3,200 lows did not get to all-time highs, it was bigger. It was bigger. Significantly bigger. And so let's go to June of 2019 on the Bitcoin chart. And that, where's the 14K top? So it's right here. Boom. So got that top. Oh, it was 1 month early. Actually, was it? Nope. Actually, no, it was exactly. It got the highest wick of the highest month and the highest closing month as well. So each of those doesn't have to be the absolute top of a cycle, rather a macro pivot top of some point. Going from 3,200 to 14K, pivot top, macro top, back down to 4K. It essentially double bottomed. This time, for the first time ever after it's been used as support, Bitcoin broke below and kept going. It did not get a macro top. Breaking rules, doing stuff for the first time ever. That's item number one. The next item is even more consequential. The next one that I'm going to show you is, it was very unlikely to happen. And this is why I was really confident that we were looking for a lower high, although all the signals, all the indicators were saying that my confidence in a lower high was going to be wrong, and I prepared everybody for that pretty well on YouTube, the Discord community, everybody. It looked like it was going to be wrong. Even though the laws of physics and my rules stated Bitcoin really wasn't supposed to do this, but all the indicators said it's going to plow through and break some rules, and it kept breaking rules. But this rule I'm getting ready to show you, I'm surprised it got broken, because 14, so how old is Bitcoin? Bitcoin came out in 2009. Right? Okay, it is 2024. So that is near about 15 years. This was year 15. Okay? In 2023, it was true that 14 out of 14 years of Bitcoin's history in 2023, last year, that there was what I call a New Year's correction, in which if you take January 1st as a middle point, and go left 45 days and right 45 days, you have 90 days total. Within that 90 days, with January 1st in the middle, Bitcoin had at least begun, or in some cases finished, but it had at least begun a New Year's correction. And the smallest correction ever was in 2015, was 27.5%. All the others were average about 33%. Some were 31, one was 40 something, a few were 33, several were 33% around New Year's. 14 out of 14 years. And so our cutoff date was around Valentine's Day, around February 15th, about when Bitcoin was not over its yearly high of 48K. So now go to the daily. Let's actually use a cleaner chart daily. And Bitcoin was, I believe, still in a lower high fashion to this 48K high. And because it was 15 out of 15 years, or 14 out of 14 years, I was pretty confident, this is going to be a lower high. And it's not going to get past this general line, this angle. And it blasted right through it. And the reason why I thought that is because it had never not begun going down by that point. By February 15th, about here. It had always begun going down every year. And Bitcoin being a very bad boy is breaking rules and just charging up. Like it doesn't even care. And it clearly doesn't care. That's the second thing. The third thing is something for which I owe you putting my foot in my mouth, literally, because I promised you I would if my laws of physics were broken. And again, I prepared everybody very well, I feel, for the laws of physics to be broken. Because everything pointed to the idea that, man, if it's going to break and Bitcoin's doing something new, it's going to happen now. And it did. And that new thing is, new viewers will appreciate this much less. So I'll make it shorter. But for returning viewers, this is November of 2022. About a year and a half long channel at this point. Almost a year and a half. Almost 18 months. And when you have a channel, even on the 5-second chart, so this is the daily chart, you can have a 5-second chart with a rising channel that looks identical, but the time frame is over 1.5 days. And so I've seen so many channels of Bitcoin play out where if you fall out once of its rising channel and twice, you do not have permission to both go back in and create a new high, a new local high. I had seen at least 1,000 channels play out. Never ever had I seen one behave like this, and a macro one did it. But, and again, new viewers won't be able to appreciate this as much, but it was not supposed to. After this second time, it fell out for 80 days, then like 20, almost a month, and then it went back in again. So, what is going on with Bitcoin? And I have an idea. It seems that the players with the biggest bags of money or biggest interest in form of money in Bitcoin, the biggest, I guess, open interest or active interest in Bitcoin, that means they have the most money and they're interested in Bitcoin, either trading it or I'd hate to use the M word, manipulate it, all right? But because when you buy and sell altcoins, you are market buy and market sell altcoins, you are manipulating them as well. So I don't like that word. But those big players, it just seems that they've changed. So in 2017 and before, the biggest absolute players were the miners and the OGs. There were two groups of people who can move Bitcoin 10% in a day. Miners, usually to the downside. And then OGs either way. Because they were dealing with like 50,000, 100,000 Bitcoin at the time. Because they were mining it on the computers when it was a penny and less than a penny and 10 cents and $1, so on and so forth. Then, after that 2017 cycle, going into 2021, the hands began to change. The miners and the OGs no longer the biggest people whipping around Bitcoin. And it became very clear in 2019 when Bitcoin stopped operating off of higher highs and higher lows to go up. It started in exactly 2019, going like this, taking out a low, and then dip and rip. You dip below and you rip up. Bitcoin did not move that way until late 2018, 2019, and things were obviously beginning to change because the people with the most money in the room began to change, it changed. So call it institutions, call it whatever you want. Now, going into what might be the 2025 cycle, or we might actually know it as the 2024 bull run at this point. Hopefully not, though. It could be BlackRock. And so, with this ETF, the 7th largest trading day ever in Bitcoin's history happened, and BlackRock's Bitcoin desk did $1 billion of that volume. I don't know which date that was, and my source for that is one of my team leaders on Discord. I do not have a link in the description section for you to double check that. So if you want to conduct due diligence, absolutely do it. Leave me a message down below if I'm totally wrong on that, but it was recent, in the last week or two. 7th largest trading day, Bitcoin, and then specifically $1 billion plus of that was BlackRock. So what does this mean? It means that the rules with which Bitcoin used to abide, they're obviously changing. It's doing brand new things. And the most valuable thing, as I guess a new viewer, returning viewers, that I can stress to you. So what I'm about to say might be the most valuable thing of the whole video. Is that expect something new. And what that means for you is this. Expect Bitcoin and crypto to do something brand new. And why that is valuable is because, and I'm guilty of this myself, much of the information on Bitcoin price movement on YouTube, again, I'm guilty of this myself and I'm going to have to change. Much of the content about Bitcoin price action, particularly long-term and mid-term price action, is based off of previous Bitcoin price action. But I just showed you 3 major things, 2 of them good for new viewers, but for returning viewers, 3. The channel is not for new viewers. 3 just obvious things. Bitcoin is changing, doing new things. And so comparing previous cycles and just saying, hey, Bitcoin has to do this or it will do this because the previous cycles, it's not safe anymore. That can be bearish, that can be bullish. For example, in a bullish sense, altcoins have always gone down 90 to 98%, the vast majority 95 to 98%. And I nailed that. I saved a lot of people a lot of money and by being loud about that. Your altcoins are going to go down 95, 98%. Almost all of them did. Matic didn't. Atom didn't. Ethereum didn't. I didn't expect Ethereum to anyway. But the vast, vast majority did. And for each one that didn't, there were more that went down more than that, like 99%. Like Cardano did. Went down 98.77% in its 2018 bear market. And actually took till 2020 to get that low on coronavirus. So it could mean that altcoins, in a good sense, in a bullish sense, maybe it's not safe to assume altcoins will go down 95 to 98% next time. That's a very bullish sense. I wouldn't hope for that. Or you want lower prices in a bear market. So don't hope for that one. You want it all to go down. Unless you are a noob who doesn't know how to sell and you watch it all go down. But I don't think there are any noobs watching in this market right now. So the reason why that's valuable, again, most of the content out there is relating previous EMA crosses, this and that structure to previous cycles. I would not totally discount that, but any percentage chances, like it's an 85% hit rate, that doesn't matter anymore. I just showed you 100% hit rate. More than, actually, it's like 300% hit rates, and they all broke. So when you see statistical averages of past, based off of past price action, please know that those statistics, I don't think they matter anymore, because the hands of the players that are moving Bitcoin have changed, and they will change again, but it might take 10 years. Okay, now the boring sense on what to expect if something new happens. After gold went on its nasty run from the 70s all the way up to 2008, it went on a sick run for like 30 years. The bulk of that run was in the last 15 or 10. Since then, gold has been going sideways for over a decade, barely peaking out new all-time highs. It's still not over the previous all-time high very confidently. It's just chopping around over a decade later, because institutions got into it. Paper gold started happening. What we have with CMEs, that's paper Bitcoin. It is possible that the hands that control, that are moving Bitcoin the most, they might make the most money off of a range. And I want to show you why that is true, as opposed to bull markets. So again, I gave you the altcoin example of something new first, so you can be excited, be like, yes, my altcoins won't move down, it's up forever. Okay, get excited about that, sure. But here's the other part. What if gold, so I'll show you why BlackRock could make more money off of a 10-year range of no bull markets. So let's just call this 30K, and let's call this, I don't know, 60 to 70, let's just call it 65. So roughly a 30K range, technically 35. And let's say that BlackRock really started getting into things when Bitcoin, let's say Bitcoin went down to 15.5, went up to 25, 32, like this. So that's how Bitcoin moved. So this would be about November 2022, somewhere close to January, when it hit 32K, 25K. And let's say they entered about right here. So going up to 65K, which is about where it is now. And then maybe you can do a short squeeze a little bit above there, but you would interact. Maybe a big failure pattern up to 80, but that's still just a failure pattern above 65, comes back down, slams all the way back down to 30. And then goes up for a 2025 rally. So the distance from here to here, plus the distance from here to here, so this is not a 10-year, but this is like just one example of what could happen and why they would make more money. And from here to there, not even going much higher than the top. So if you stacked all of these on top of each other, okay, but put them in the correct way, the length of that is longer. So making money up and down is much longer and more so therefore profit, it's your profit vector. Like, how big is your profit? Is bigger than entering here and going straight up to 160K. It's simply bigger. And that's with the 2025 bull market. What about you just keep doing that for 10 years? And each time you approach 65 or whatever might be this range top, there's a different little trick play. Get everybody bullish. Go on top of that line. Go on top of that line, break above, use it as support, and get really bullish, and then fall down. Something like that. Get everybody bullish as shit as they're shorting, and then they'll make even more money down because they can add more to the shorts if people are longing. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. You have to have a short, you have to have a long on somebody else longing if you're going to short for $1. Therefore, you have to have this trick place if you're going to pile on more shorts before you sell $1 billion, quote unquote, $1 billion of BlackRock Bitcoin. Quote unquote. That's not exactly how it works, and they wouldn't sell necessarily 1 billion Bitcoin because there aren't 1 billion Bitcoin, but quote unquote. Sell 21 million Bitcoin or $1 billion of Bitcoin and make money on the shorts on the way down. And so I gave you about the most bullish, amazing example of something new and something that's not bearish, but it's super boring. It's the opposite for altcoins. Like altcoins would have to do its own season, like in waves. There wouldn't be an all-for-one altcoin season. You just have 2 or 3 popping off like a flavor of the month, like AI and Web3, you know, even though those were previous ones, or AI might be current, but Web3 and DeFi were the 2021 flavors of the month, and Oracles in 2020, and then DeFi, then Web3. There was one more in 2021 as well. So it could just be flavors of the month popping off, as opposed to, if you got in the 10-year range, as opposed to everything all at once, an all-for-one altcoin market. So it'd be a lot more boring. Just in a nutshell, expect something new. It might not be a new that you want. I didn't get the new that I wanted. I wanted new lower prices, baby, for that 2025 bull market. But I'm getting instead no lower prices, racing up, breaking rules to the upside. How am I going to enter these alts? I have a bunch of alts actually picked out. They're mostly mid caps and small caps that are positioned to explode if and when Bitcoin continues its rise up. And I'm getting ready to jump back to my private live stream for the private YouTube community. So I'll leave you with those questions. And in that private live stream, we're going to go over the types of altcoins that are ready to pounce, that have not gone up to all-time highs yet or haven't screamed yet, things that they might consider if they are wanting exposure into, only if somebody is looking to get exposure into crypto, because they might have been sitting flat on Tether or US dollars or whatever cash, as opposed to entering the market because of the fear of the SEC, which was my fear. So for those types of people, we're going to cover that next, and how I'm personally doing it and how you might consider it as well. So I'm going to end the public YouTube stream, and we'll see you on the flip side. You just got Timified Worldwide. Peace.